I'm sorry, back to the macros accounting. So this year was basically on a calorie restricted diet from January 1st to the end of April. We were doing 2,500 calories, 26, 2,400 calories, and tracking everything, writing everything down, hitting our protein macros for the day, keeping the carbs below a certain, cycling them also, some days higher, some days lower, keeping the fats pretty steady. And so that really worked. It was the first time that I saw a drastic change in the physique. And I realized that for bodybuilding, and physique, it's all about the diet. You can get really strong, you can have big lifts, and you can have a good body to a certain degree, but you're not going to get exceptional unless you really apply the disciplines of the diet. And that requires knowledge. It requires knowing what it is that you're eating, how many calories. It's all about the numbers. And if you're not tracking that, it's really hard to hit those goals. I remember, I'd have to really work in sometimes how much to eat in the evenings if I was low on my calories and I was over on carbs and under on fats. And you have to, if you don't have everything weighed out from the beginning of the day, there's a bit of juggling that needs to go on. But the knowledge of doing that really ingrained itself into me. And so from now on, I guess on this journey, it is all about incorporating the macros and the diet. So, where else are we today? We brought our body weight down to 182 pounds on the 15th of December, and that's as low as I was willing to go, frankly. I've been up to 220, 230, 210. My best lifts around 215. And to me, psychologically, to go below 200 was not easy. I just had to let go, and I said, look, we're going to take this process to where it goes. When I hit 190, I said, fuck it, man. Just keep on going. I'm looking better. The fat's coming off. I've never seen the lower back get that indentation from the upper glute. I mean, it was starting to look real, losing the lower pouch from the pooch or whatever is on the abdomen and all that. I'll show some physique. I don't have the confidence yet to just take off my shirt. This is just starting a YouTube channel, and there's some things I have to get used to first, So, tracking the calories was absolutely fundamental in the change of direction in this journey. It gave a much clearer vision of how to achieve things. And on my second attempt, from the 1st of September to the 15th of December, I hit the numbers to the gram. I mean, I literally applied the science of retaining all the muscle possible with a slight deficit, slight bit of cardio, and the restriction, absolutely adhered to, like day in, day out, day in, day out. When there was a significant drop in weight, because there'd be a week or two where I wouldn't drop, and I'd be super adhered to the discipline and everything, and then all of a sudden one night, from one day to the next, I'd drop 2 or 3 pounds. On that next day, I would up the calories, and if I was still on a downward trend, I'd up them a little bit more. I try to stop, so I was like riding a horse or a car. You put on the brake and you put on the accelerator. You have to learn how to do that. You just go, okay, we're losing weight now. And come what may, you just keep on losing and whatever. No, you got to really adjust day by day almost, what the hell you're doing if you don't want to lose strength and muscle, because anybody can lose weight. But if you want to retain physique and retain muscle, you have to know what the hell you're doing. There's no way you're retaining that muscle on a calorie restriction if you're not doing the thing right. You have to lift heavy, first of all. You have to stimulate the muscles consistently through higher frequency. You can't go too high on the volume because you'll dig a glycogen hole and you'll just atrophy and you'll lose body size and body weight. So it's a balance, it's a balance. And if you start dropping weight too much, you got to up the calories. If you stay, if ever it goes up, you really have to adhere again to the lower. So it's all about the numbers, So that's the state we're in right now. We upped the calories in December. So the last day of December, we're back up to 192. I feel tighter, like lower body fat, than 10 pounds lighter. So I know the process worked because the rebound filled me out a little bit more. I gained 10 pounds. with the added benefit of my pants are looser, the midsection is even tighter, and I just feel much better. It was kick ass. I'm really stoked about this whole journey, but I realize I'm about 50 pounds underweight, under muscle weight. 50 pounds. That's a significant amount of muscle that I want to achieve, to put on this frame. How am I going to do that in the coming months, years, without gaining body fat to a significant degree? Maintaining the shape, we don't want fat hanging off. There's no purpose in that. It doesn't add strength, doesn't add bulk, it doesn't add nothing. It just adds nothing except insulin resistance, bad, guilt conscience, subconscious that'll be doing tricks on your mind. You won't be happy. You won't be satisfied. So there's really no purpose in getting fat while trying to bulk. And I've always done this in the past. So this is still a mystery to me. This is the first time I'm going to try to bulk properly. And to bulk properly, as I understand it, is, of course, eating a lot more food, but it's eating protein, man. It's just eating more meats, more chicken, more vegetables, more complex carbs, and staying away from the refined stuff, from the junk food. The junk cheat meals are actually pretty helpful sometimes, but they can't be a standard daily occurrence. They have to be thrown in very judiciously here and there, and then they'll work, and then they improve your mindset because you know that you can always have a cheat meal if you really need one. Go have a big ass double cheeseburger with some fries, man. It's so tasty, cheesy. You can have that every once in a while. I had one yesterday and today. I woke up like a pound and a half lighter. Everything was tighter. It's just the skin tone was a little bit shinier and tighter. It was like, what? I was expecting a sloppy, morning today. Like, oh shit, I said, no, it actually works when it's thrown in just at the right time. So, okay, that's where we are today. Now let's get into the delts, what we're going to train today. And today we're going to do, first of all, we're training the shoulder flies. So we're doing dumbbells. We're doing dumbbells for the rear delts. We're doing dumbbells for the side delts. I don't do them for the front because I kill my shoulders with I don't kill them, but I've gotten the best development from the bench press, from the incline press, from the heavy presses, and I don't feel the need to do these front raises. It's like junk volume after a certain point. It's like, and besides, I have to take care of the shoulder joints. There's some angles that actually hurt my shoulders. Not everything I can bend back and do all this stuff and somewhat mobile. But it's all about, again, when we're doing these shoulder movements, we're not going to be restricted to these like small weights, 15s, 30s. Oh, we went up to 40 pounds. No. Yes and no. On the dumbbell flies, be they the rear or the side, I am going to try to go up to 70s, 80s, and 90s, on these movements. So, like Ronnie Coleman said, these are isolation movements, but that doesn't mean you can't go really heavy on them. He would pull in the full stack on the reverse pec deck, the pec deck where you do your rear delts. I put it 50 pounds, 60, 100. He'd be doing them like 250 pounds, 300 pounds, full stack. Okay, on the rear delts, hundreds and 20s. And the thing is, here is where technique can really be detrimental to your progress. Because you do not need to have super strict crimping and crunching technique to get mass on your back deltoids. You need a shitload of weight. And if that means yanking a little bit, that'll work as long as you're yanking the heavy enough weight. You'll feel it in the back, man. If you do those 60s and 70s, even with a bit of body English and a bit of swing, 2-3 Ds later, you're going to be feeling those muscles like you'll be feeling them like for the first time in your life. And you'll also develop like a neural connection where you feel like this thing where you just want to yank and pull really hard on things, You're not going to get that by doing the gym bro 40 pounds. No. It was always a mystery to me how these guys really trained. And I saw a video with Gaspari and Haney. They were doing 75s on the shoulder flies. You never see that shit. I remember seeing Sean Ray doing 40s and 50s after doing his military press. We were so ignorant back then. No coaches, no access to real bodybuilders. We're just, these gym bros with zero knowledge. It was so pathetic. It was like just so pathetic. And nobody was, forthcoming with good knowledge. It was all very restrictive knowledge. If they ever saw you doing a heavy set, they would go, no, lower the weight and, do the proper form. Yeah, 40 years later, proper form. Fuck that. It's bullshit. Like Chad Nichols says, shout out to Chad, but if that technique is hindering your intensity, get rid of it. It's just it's not working. You need to lift ugly. You need to attack the weight with a certain ferocity. Like ferociously. You need to attack that weight. So if you can do 40s, why don't you try 50s? Oh, because your technique might, you just, come on, man. Anyways, so that being said, we're going to incorporate heavy sets into the dumbbell flies. We're going to do lighter weights with a lot of reps. We're going to do a rep scheme where we'll do isometric, like on one side 15, 15, and then immediately switch over here. We'll do 12, 12, then 10, then 10, 8, 6, until, frankly, the last 2 or 3 reps is like, I can't really move that arm. Come on, let's try it. Okay. That coupled with the super heavy weight, the lightweight, the rep out, the burnout, will give us a sufficient work volume. Okay, so that'll be with the dumbbell exercise. So now the military press. The military press is the bread and butter standard of developing shoulder mass. And, some people are very strong on this exercise. Some people, it's just a very hard movement to master. It has to be developed. You have to find your proper angle. Because with the military press, it's all about the angle. And you have to find your correct angle, not the angle that somebody else is teaching you that has different shoulder dimensions than you, different clavicle widths, arm lengths. Some people have short, stubby arms with short clavicles. They have great leverage for pressing. Some people have different ratios, longer arms. The weight is just distributed differently. The exertion points, everything is just different. Everybody's built slightly different. So you have to find out what works for you. What one person's open or shoulder press like this might damage their shoulder joints, while somebody else can actually flare and do better from a behind the neck. I've seen some people on YouTube talking about unnatural movements. There is no unnatural movement. These bodies were made to move any way that you can think of. So there is no unnatural. The only unnatural thing is for somebody to say that there's an unnatural movement. You can put yourself at a disadvantage, for leverage. This is true, or you can put yourself at maximum leverage. It doesn't mean a movement is unnatural. For some people, again, the flared elbows actually will spare their joints because they're driving all the force onto the meat of the muscle. The joint is receiving very little stress. It's the muscle. So that being said, I found my particular groove with a wide flare, kind of a narrow grip, and I don't bring it all the way down here. This is hyper flexing. So, it's like only down to a little bit past 90. That'll work the muscle just fine. And you need to, put a lot of weight on there. So we're starting out with working weights between 155 and 175. Our maxes are around 2 plates, 200 pounds for 5-6 reps. We're going to keep it in the 155, 175 for the first several weeks. And we'll be doing the seated military press at the end of the shoulder workout. Basic strength for the shoulder press is not a priority at this moment. We're doing that with the bench press and the incline bench press and the dumbbell bench press. And we're doing the military seated press more for volume, for hypertrophy strictly, and to enhance the priming effect of the heavy dumbbell session. So with those final closing thoughts, we will be going to the gym, filming our exercises and our the entire workout, and then we'll do a short commentary afterwards to review the session and see how it went. So until later on in this video, see y'all later.